Hey everybody, Nate here from the Tower Grill. Here to show you how to make a simple and easy steak and potatoes dinner with a really nice side salad. We're gonna go through chimichurri, one of my favorite sauces for pretty much everything on the planet. And then we're gonna talk about how to make your steaks at home, just like in a real restaurant. We're gonna get started with our potatoes. So first you need to get your oven to 400 degrees. Get it preheated. While that's happening, we're gonna make a couple Hassleback potatoes. This is a simple way to make potatoes look way more delicious and fancy than they actually are. So Argentina style dish to feature potatoes. Potatoes are indigenous to the Andes Mountains, and so South America is the home of potatoes. We got to start with those. So some nice Yukon Gold potatoes. We're gonna make a couple slices in them, but we're not gonna go all the way through the potato. We're just gonna go to about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, and we're gonna cut about 1/8 of an inch slices. So we're just gonna go not quite through the potato. Go nice and slow, no hurry. Don't worry if you go all the way through the potato. It's totally fine. And watch your fingers there at the end. So we're gonna pop these into a skillet. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of cooking spray just so they don't stick to the bottom. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the top. They don't need anything else on them right now. We're just gonna let them do their thing with their starches. Just is gonna help them brown nicely. We're gonna take these inside and put them in the 400-degree oven. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is make a quick chimichurri. Now, you can absolutely hand chop this yourself if you want to, but I find it's the easiest and least intimidating to make it in the blender. Super easy. Before I do that, I'm gonna get this skillet on medium-low heat. So we're gonna get this baby fired up, turn it down to medium, let that get nice and warm before we dump all this stuff in. So, basic chimichurri, classic, oregano, pretty much always. One of the things about chimichurri is that it's kind of up to you as far as creativity goes. You can use cilantro. I've seen people use mint. I've seen people use only oregano. You can use parsley. You can use whatever herb that you like, whatever's in your garden in the summer. Play around with it. It's really fun as long as you stick to some basic essentials. So in this chimichurri, we have a 1/2 cup of fresh oregano, 1/2 cup of parsley. So 4 cloves of garlic is going into our chimichurri. Get them all peeled up here. We have a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. The same amount of olive oil. This is a super easy recipe to memorize. So it's almost all the same thing. The herbs are the same amount. The red wine vinegar and the olive oil are the same amount. We got a 1/2 cup of water, just to keep things moving. And then a tablespoon of kosher salt. And then I like pretty spicy. This is a 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. If you like more, you can do more. If you like less, you can do less. And you can adjust this later on at the end, but I'm just gonna blend it all together anyway. So it's all in. In she goes to the blender. It's also a really good time to take a sip of wine. All right, see the color change? The oil and the vinegar have started to emulsify and come together a little bit. It's looking like a nice pale green color. Everything's combining. And we're done. Again, you could hand chop that on your cutting board all you want, but that was pretty easy. All right, chimichurri, one of the best things about chimichurri is having it the next day. So don't be afraid to make this sauce the night before. You can make it once a week. Keep it in your fridge, super beautiful. We're gonna set that aside and plate our steak with it later. All right, chimichurri's done. We're gonna bust out a super simple baby arugula salad. I love this salad. It's so easy, you don't even have to make dressing for it. So we're gonna start with some baby arugula on a plate. You can buy this at almost any store. We're gonna take a red onion, get this skin off, and just real quick, just do a couple really thin slices. If you have a mandolin slicer, also a great time to use it, but I think we can get some pretty nice thin shavings off of here. I don't like giant, thick, heavy chunks of red onion because it's so strong, but little tiny, super thin pieces, delicately sprinkled on a salad, I think adds a really welcome layer of flavor, and you should definitely use them. If you don't like raw red onion, one of the quick things you can do is pickle them. It's the simplest recipe on the planet. If you bring them to a quick simmer in rice wine or plain white wine vinegar and turn it off, set them aside, let them cool completely, pull the onions out, they'll be neon pink. They'll give you a little bit nice bright acid tone, but they will not be as strong as solid red onions. A lot of people prefer that. This dish, I want the bright, nice, crisp, sharp red onions, so we're gonna leave those there. Next thing we're gonna do after we got our onions on there is take the top and bottom off of an orange. That keeps it from going anywhere. It's pretty easy to take apart an orange this way. You can see where the pith of the orange is. Start on one side and it'll expose the fruit, and then just work your way around. Look at the white part, follow the contour of the orange. We're gonna get all that away. There's no good flavor in there. If you get a little extra meat, it's okay. We're gonna use it to squeeze over the salad here in just a little bit. So don't be afraid to get all that off of there. Okay. We're gonna save that over here, turn our orange sideways, and just make some nice, thin slices. Okay. We can take these and layer them around on our salad. This would be enough salad for 2 people. By the time we get to this steak, it's definitely going to be a lot of food. We got some feta cheese. We're going to sprinkle that over the top, and then I'm going to grab some beets that we already have cooked off. Nice big red beets. If you have golden beets, you could use that as well. Already sliced. You can buy these pre-done canned in the store, or you can go through the trouble of roasting them in the oven. You can actually do them the same time as your potatoes for this dish. So 400 degrees for an hour, each beet wrapped in foil. Pull them out, let them rest till you can work with them. Then you have to peel them. Your hands will turn bright purple, which is really fun. And then you can let them cool all the way. I like having cooked beets pretty much around all the time. They're delicious. So. For the ease of use on this one, we just grabbed them already made out of a can. All right, so we're gonna grab our leftover orange peel here, get all the juice out of there. That may also extract a little bit of the zest, a little bit of the oils that are naturally in the skin of the orange. All right, that's enough of that. We don't want these guys to go to waste. I wouldn't be sad if those were on my salad, so I'm gonna put them on there. All right, just a quick drizzle of olive oil. We're gonna throw some fresh black pepper on there. If you didn't know, you can adjust the coarseness of the pepper on your pepper grinder by loosening this little knob right here. If you like it really chunky, you can loosen it up. It'll make bigger pieces of pepper. Crank it down, it'll make it finer. Little trick. And just a teeny bit of salt. Little kosher salt over the top there. I am also going to, just for some brightness, whack a lemon in half, and just, if you squeeze a lemon upside down, face up into your hand, you won't get any seeds. Give it some fresh lemon juice, and we are done. Easy. So that is our salad for dinner. Potatoes are still in the oven. Chimichurri is made. Let's get the steaks in the pan. All right, so this is a New York steak. We cut these ourselves earlier. You can do this with a ribeye. You can do this with a top sirloin. You can do this with the steak of your choice. The only thing that will vary is the cooking time based on both your preference and the thickness of the steak. So these are not super huge steaks. They should take us about 6-7 minutes total for a nice medium. I'm not going to season these steaks at all ahead of time. A lot of people will put salt and pepper on their steak before they put it in the pan. I want to let the meat do its thing for a while. We're going to season it after so we get the full salt and pepper flavor. When we're done, we're also going to do a little trick that most restaurants do to bring the flavors up a little bit more in the steak. So we're just going to start with regular vegetable oil. This is not extra virgin olive oil. There's nothing special about it. You can see my pan is nice and hot. I'm going to give it a quick swirl. These steaks are not getting touched for about 4 minutes. So we're going to get them in. That's what you want to hear. All right, so 5:04 when we're shooting this, so I'm gonna give these steaks 4 minutes. All right, so our steaks have been in for 3 minutes. And we are going to elevate the flavor of the steak by adding 2 of my favorite things, butter and garlic. I don't like putting butter in at the beginning of the cook time, and here's why. The milk solids in butter tends to burn. And so then you end up with a really brown, dark, and it can taste a little acrid, a little bit burnt, and you don't want that. If you have clarified butter, or if you've made clarified butter, that's definitely something you can use, because what clarified butter is basically butter that has had the solids removed, and you can either make it yourself, or for a price you can buy it in the store. So I'm just going to mince this garlic up a little bit. You can just smash it. It's going to go into the pan. We're going to flip these steaks over, add a chunk of butter and some garlic, and then what we're going to do is let these steaks cook for another 3 minutes and just baste them once a minute until they're done. All right, let's flip these guys over, see if they're stuck. Nope, perfect. They're a little grabby. Oh yeah. Crispy, perfect. Almost all pans have one little hot spot. There we go, perfect. All right, so just a quick knob of butter. You can put it on one side, maybe 2. Yeah. That's what Emerald would do. He would do another one. And everybody would cheer. I grew up watching Emerald Lagasse on Food Network, gosh. All right, in goes the garlic. So all we have so far in the pan, steak with a little bit of regular oil at first. Now we have added butter and garlic after 4 minutes. They're flipped. So we're coming up on our first minute. Really, the butter is just beginning to melt. And so what we're going to do now is just give it a quick baste. So if you just give the pan a quick tilt, get all those juices down there in the bottom, grab the butter and just start pouring it over the steaks. Okay, do that for a couple times. The juices are going to run right off the steak. Garlic can hang out in there. We're going to make sure that heat is nice and high still, right? We lose a little bit of heat when we flip the steaks over. So I'm going to crank that up a little bit more. We can see our butter is browning. Take a quick second to wipe off my cutting board from our oranges earlier. Keep our work area clean, something I'm still getting better at. 08, 09. Those minutes go quick. I think these steaks are going to end up about medium rare. So if you want your steak done a little bit longer, keep that first 4 minutes, and then we're going to do probably 4 or 5 minutes if you want to go medium well. There's a trick for learning the doneness of your steak. If you push on the fatty part of your hand right here, the meaty part of your hand, without touching any fingers, push. That's a rare steak right there. If you flex this finger down and touch, that's a medium rare steak. If you bring your middle finger down, that's about a medium steak feels like. Ring finger, you feel it getting tighter. That's about medium well. Pinky finger all the way across, pretty firm. That's what a hard, well done steak feels like. So if you're not sure and you want to give your steaks a quick push, we'll do that at the 2 minute, 3 minute mark and kind of see where we're at. So it's about time to do another baste on these steaks. I'm just going to tilt the pan again. The garlic's getting nice and crispy. I'm not done with all the flavors in this pan yet either. We're going to use everything in this pan to finish off our asparagus that's going to go in this steak with these steaks later. So excited about that. Quick baste. And then the whole time the butter and the garlic is going underneath the steaks. Now it's up on top. Looking really good. We got about 1 more minute. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick peek and see where we're at. Oh yeah, getting nice and brown. We're there. Okay, I'm gonna do my push test here. Careful, it's hot. Yeah, those feel medium. So I'm gonna pull them, sit them aside on my cutting board over here. Leave that crust side up there. And these are gonna rest for at least 5 minutes. So we're gonna let them do their thing. We'll salt and pepper those right before we serve them. All right, next thing we're gonna do is get some asparagus in this pan. It's still hot, it's got butter, and it's got garlic, all the things that are good. I took these asparagus, I took the ends off, and then I took a peeler and just real quick, just knocked off some of the end of the stem, just to take some of that fibrous, thicker material off the end of the asparagus. And so what we're gonna do is throw these in the skillet. If they don't fit in your skillet, cut them shorter. That's good there. We should hear a nice sizzle. Get those guys going. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit more oil, and then I'm gonna push them around in this butter for a second here with my tongs. And we should let them start sizzling. I'm just gonna let these heat up a little bit, okay? All right, while that asparagus simmers real quick, again, take a quick sip of wine. All right, our asparagus is simmering. I'm gonna add a teeny bit more butter to the pan. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna add a lot more butter to the pan. No, about a tablespoon. Get those crispy pieces of garlic in there. So now our pan's nice and hot. All I'm gonna do is steam these real quick. I'm just gonna pour a 1/4 cup of water in and throw my lid on top. We're gonna give those about 2 more minutes because that's about how much longer our steaks have to rest. All right, let's do a quick check on this asparagus. It's been simmering in here for just a minute or two. Oh, perfect. We've got some brown sauce, the juice from those steaks in there, the butter and the garlic. The asparagus is starting to feel, yep, nice and tender. So I'm gonna leave this top off, let some of these juices cook out a little bit. We're gonna hit this asparagus with just a little bit of lemon juice. And I'm just gonna turn my heat off. All right, these steaks have been resting. You can see some of the juice hopefully has not run out onto your table like mine has. And what we're gonna do is just take one of these steaks before we plate this up. We're gonna take a steak here and just give it a slice and see how we're looking here. How are we looking? Nice, medium. The way that it felt. All right, so I'm gonna take my knife here and just set this steak down and fan it a little bit, just like that. Gonna take one of my potatoes from in the oven here, look at that. Okay, and I lift my asparagus out and just lay it right there in the middle, just like that. Now, my favorite part, the chimichurri. I'm gonna grab a little ladle of this goodness and just go right over the steak there. And I like it on my potato too, so I'm gonna go like this. And the cool thing about a Hassleback potato is that all these little cracks, or these slices we put in earlier, really let you get really whatever you pour on there. We could do a little bit of olive oil. We're definitely gonna throw a little bit of salt and pepper on our steak now. Right over the top, just like that. On the potato also, because all we did earlier was brush that with a little bit of oil. We're gonna hit the whole plate with a little bit of pepper. Or in my case, a lot of bit of pepper. There it goes. Oh yeah. And that is pretty much it. Easy New York steak in a skillet. Chimichurri, asparagus, Hassleback potatoes, salad on the side. Hope you guys enjoy it. Have fun cooking at home.